Good morning. This is breaking news regarding Arlene Brunson Center for Children Against Drugs president. So basically, I started the program, as you know, as a legacy for my children. And it was more so about my mom's tragedy, so that's why the company is named after my mom. And this particular issue was very difficult for me. I'm a licensed school counselor who also has a master's in mental health counseling. But I really, am struggling to get the expertise that I need to fully address this issue. And the real issue is that a lot of children are, forced to take mental health medications at a young age. And they actually, end up being on medication for their entire lives. And that was my real issue. And, that was my mom's struggle. And it became my struggle in 2016. I was battling the closest people to me, regarding this particular issue. So I started being in and out of courts for custody of my children in 2016. And I was forced to take mental health medications in order to lose, residential rights to my children. And I was fine with that. I said, okay, that's fine. I'll still be in their lives, and I'll still be able to teach them what, my core values are and what my goals are, regardless of, the false allegations, of mental health problems. And, I'm not sure exactly how somebody can hold a full-time job, and get 2 master's degrees, and have, a psychotic mental health problem that they cannot be drug-free. So there was nothing I could do about it for my mom. I knew that my mom, issues was not focused on mental health, her mental health problems. Her issues, was a lot deeper, and mine is as well. So I took that on, creating this legacy that my children will not be looped in to this. So sometimes when, you have, a history of different ailments. It doesn't matter if it's physical ailments, mental ailments. When you have a history of it, you struggle more to protect your children, future. So when I was 8, my mom asked me, she noticed that I was struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder. So she said, do you want some medication to deal with that? And I told her no. And she said, you could do what you want to do. You don't have to take medication for it. So I was in and out of counseling since the age of 4. And I was never diagnosed as being psychotic until after I started this company. And, everything came up against me all at once at 2016. I had law enforcement, supporting me. I had politicians supporting me in my little program, what I was trying to create. And I had no clue exactly how I was going to tackle this issue. Fast forward, they brought that back up in court when I went back to court, for divorce. Saying, oh, you have a history of mental illness based off of untruths, basically. And they're like, have you been taking antipsychotics? And I'm like, look, I just went back to school. I went back to school and completed my second master's while working 2 full-time jobs. What psychotic person can do that? So then they threw a curveball at me. And now I am at Roswell. And I was told that I could go home on February the 9th, 2026, if I took, narcotics, and specifically dealing with the type of pain that I have. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, after racing and completing a half marathon, now all of a sudden I'm all this pain and I need to live on narcotics all of a sudden. And so I chose to deal with the issue that I said I care about, which was overdose. So I said, okay, I'll deal with that. So I took the fentanyl patch, and then they still didn't let me go home. They were like, yeah, now we want to up the dose of this fentanyl pack. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's necessary. And so they're like cornering me in between either staying at Roswell on narcotics around the clock, and I've been here 3 weeks on narcotics because I want to be drug free. So I'm dealing with it from every angle, personally trying to figure this out from the inside instead of from the outside. It's much easier when you're on the outside trying to help someone else. So they decided that, they needed to take my support, system, and because I'm an educator, and use it to do the opposite. So now I'm on the inside dealing with both issues that I wanted to protect people from, specifically young people. So, I just wanted to let you know the truth, that sometimes there's more to things than that meet the eye. And sometimes things are the complete opposite of what you think they are. So I am the Drug Free Me founder, and all I wanted out of this whole thing was to protect my children. I was not concerned about my mental health status. I was not concerned with that. I was concerned about breaking generational curses, as I said my program would do. And instead of getting support, I'm up against pharmaceutical companies. I'm up against, colleges, and I'm up against, the very things that once supported these things and allowed you to be able to address these types of issues, to make these types of changes. So there you have it. Breaking news coming in live from Arlene Brunson Center for Children Against Drugs.